Welcome everyone to today's structured art lesson, part of our ongoing sketch course. In this lesson, I'll be showing you step by step on how to draw the plague doctor. For today's lesson, we need our sketch pad and a pencil. I'll begin today's sketch off with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick, but you're welcome to use whatever you'd like. Now in this lesson, we'll be focusing on the core sketching fundamentals like proportion, shading, and structure. So let's start at the top of our page. We're going to sketch a line coming down the center, starting at the very top in the middle. It's going to lightly work our way down towards the bottom using these short lines and just pulling the pencil down towards us. Now let's go back to the center, draw another line going across from left to right. Let's go back to the center. We're going to leave a gap in between the eyes. So from that center point, let's move out to right about here. Sketch a line coming all the way down. And let's measure that same distance over towards the right and do the same thing. Now on either side, we're going to sketch an oval for the eyes. Let's start from this line. We're going to go up towards the top line, come around the side, and then bend that back in. Let's draw that same sized oval on the right side. So starting here, we want to bring that down towards the same height, and then back up towards the top. And I want to add a thick edge along the outside. Starting from the top of our oval, just going to trace this around and then back in towards the bottom. Let's connect the inside of the eyes with a curve for a fold going up and then down. From the outside of the eyes, we're going to step out, draw a straight line going up, come down around the eye and in. I'm going to pull this down towards the tip of the beak to right about there. Let's take that curve and flip it over on the right. So we're going to step out from the eye, go straight up, come down and in, and then bend that down towards the tip. Let's go back to the eyes. We're going to add a fold across the brow. Starting from this point, we're just going to angle this up and then out along the top of our ovals. And then from the inside, bend this in and then up. Now we're going to wrap the hood around the head. From that center point, let's step up, bend this out and then down towards the side of the head. Bend this out and then down towards the bottom. Now from here, we're going to bend this in and then down in behind the beak, and then go up and then back out. Let's go back to these 2 points. We're going to angle this up and then in towards the top of the head to right about there, and we can modify the distance later if we need to. I'm just going to round out the top. Now from these 2 corners, we're just going to bend the hood, going around the head and then down towards the bottom. Let's add a fold across the bottom of the hood. Starting down here, bend this up and then out, and line that up on the right side. Now underneath the cheekbones, we're going to angle the neck, coming down and then out. Now that we have our basic sketch, I want to go back and clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines. Now once we clean up our drawing, I'm going to go back in and use this rough sketch as a guide to help us layer on some more details. Let's go back to the eyes. Just want to enhance that fold with a bend going up and then out, and rounding out the bottom. So we're just smoothing out those straight lines, and we'll tuck the eyes in underneath, starting with the outside. Now along the bottom from the inside, we're going to add a fold, coming down lower and then out. Let's add that seam across the center. Now in the middle, we're just going to add some stitch lines going across. Let's add a stitch going up and then out from the brow. Let's add a little bit more shape to the head, just bending the cheeks going out and back in towards the beak. I'm going to add a little bit of a pattern to the tip of the beak, starting from the center, going out and then down the side, and around the bottom. Let's add some more stitches across that center seam. I'm just going to add the edge of the mouth, going up and then out. Now from here, it's going to add some more shape to the edge of the hood. So we're just going to drape this across. And we can offset this a little bit so it's a little bit lower on the right side. So it's not perfectly symmetrical. Make it look a little bit more natural. So bend this down and out, and then round out the bottom corners. Enhance that fold along the side. Now with the collar, it's going to add some folds and wrinkles. Starting from the side, I'm just going to bend this in, then layer these underneath. Now we're going to do one final cleanup before we add some more detail and contrast. Now once we clean up our drawing, I'm going to switch to my 0.9mm pencil. This is a little bit thicker and darker. It's going to add some more contrast, and again, just adding some more detail and refining the shapes. So I'm going to start back at the eyes. Just adding some thick and thin lines. Adding a few more wrinkles and folds along the outside. Now once we've traced out all our contours, I'm going to move to the side edge of my 2mm pencil and start adding some shadows and tones. So we're going to start with the inside of the hood. So the darkest area will be along the top. And then you just want to fade that down towards the bottom. This is where the light will catch the edge of the hood along the inside. And then we'll fade that across and then in. And then with the eyes, we're going to darken up the top. You want to create a glare across the center. Just going to darken this up and then fade that down first. And then we'll layer the detail on top after. Now the head's going to cast a shadow across the neck. So we'll darken that up. And fade that down. And go a little bit darker along the middle. Now the hood's going to cast a shadow on top of the head. So you want to darken up the top, and again, just fading that down towards the light. And you want to imagine that the light's coming from the top left of our character, coming down. So the shadows will sit along the bottom edge of each shape. I'm just going to shift the shadow a little bit more towards the right side. So from that center line, we'll darken that up and then fade that out. I'm going to go back and just layer in those fine details across our drawing. Now as we get near the end of our drawing, I add a few more details and shadows, and always be sure to sign my artwork. And there's a sketch illustration of the Plague Doctor. If you found this lesson helpful, give it a like and share with someone else who's learning how to draw. You can find more step-by-step lessons in the full sketching course playlist link below, or explore other topics across this channel. I want to thank you for watching today. Stay creative, and I'll see you in the next one.